What up? I'm going to try and cut right to it to pack this all in real quick. We're going to be talking about addiction, trauma, being born into death, near death experiences, and how that could leave one open to high sensory input and paranormal activity from birth. Being born dead and taken away for a couple days and brought back to your parents, and doctors tell your parents you're likely going to grow up to be retarded because you were not breathing for however amount of time, and nobody asks any questions. I think we often take for granted how every little thing, especially early on in our life, forms and develops us and contributes to us becoming who we are. Um, and if you're born in a situation like that, and then you endure physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse as a child, uh, you experience dissociative states, you experience out of body experiences. Later in life, you come to realize some of your dreams weren't just dreams, but they were, you're surfing the astral. We didn't just come to these conclusions for fun. Like, I've had to delve into the occult and esoteric to try to find meaning and hope for my own survival and to try and find a reason to keep living, because I turned to addiction to turn the noise down that my early life situations created. I've also been given, few mental health diagnoses, which I have my gripes with the Western medicine system. You know, uh, curing your patients or customers is not very profitable business model. So we need to turn to holistic methods of healing. But a lot of us, I think, struggle with the crisis of meaning and spiritual crisis, especially in American culture. I sure did for a long time. But because of my dysfunctional family and being abandoned around 15 or 16, I've been on my own and struggled with opiate addiction since I was 16. I'm 34 now. I'm doing really, really well. Come a long way. You probably see me right now and you're like, oh, what, did you get addicted to weed after smoking it twice? You freaking addict. No. A lot more serious than that. I'm dead a lot of times. But um, sometimes you have to turn inward for the answers. Sometimes that's the best place, and you'll find out the answers were right in front of you the whole time. What I'm about to say, please take it seriously, but not literally. When I began to search for meaning, to find a reason to keep living, I discovered the meaning of my name translates to Christopher Fiato's breath of the Christ bearer. My parents almost named me Damien and always joked about it because Damien is the Antichrist in the movie The Omen. So I've been born into this giant cosmic joke, it feels like. And because of my brain damage and also massive head trauma, multiple head injuries over the years, I was very discouraged to try and educate myself for a long time because I don't remember and I don't learn the way typical people seem to learn. But when I come across information that has helped me, rather than this intellectual sense of learning, it's like this some information awake gives me this sense of remembrance and circuits firing back up in me, remembering something that we've been taught to forget. So I don't know what this means. I've been trying to figure it out, and a lot of this stuff is really hard to talk with people about, but I know there's other people out there like me, probably really confused, trying to figure out what the hell happened to their life and why nobody wanted to seem to help you figure it out, especially your family. Um, and having such a dysfunctional family and always just, being such an empathetic person and a loving person, and always just wanting to seeking approval and love from other people, you'll put yourself in some stupid, naive situations just because you're always seeking for a sense of belonging, which I've not often felt. But the whole meaning of my name, finding out your name means the breath of the Christ bearer. Your life path number is 33, which is a very symbolic number, especially in the allegorical story of Christ. Virgo sun, born into of the Virgin. There's other connections. I'm drawing a blank at the moment. But I've had a very curious life. But it's all led me, especially in these conspiracy realms, it's all led me to meaning and purpose, and not needing to have definite answers, but allowing myself to not be emotionally, egoically attached to any one concept or ideas. I like to say we don't hold many beliefs, but we've got a lot of suspicions. Thank you, Robert Anton Wilson, for those words of wisdom. But people like to speak and think in absolutes, like it has to be one or the other. No, all truths are but half truths. All paradoxes can be reconciled. Opposites are identical in nature, but differ in degree. These are Hermetic principles from Hermetic philosophy. We'll talk more about that later. But I just want to, I need help getting my voice out there, because every time I try to connect with people, um, things start out well, and then they really get to know me and realize that, these people who consider themselves occultists, alchemists, magicians, whatever, like, I hate labels, but I understand why we have to use them so you can direct people into, what you're about. But these people who, like, you know, put a lot of time into studying these things and consider themselves these things, then they come across someone who's very naive and ignorant to their own abilities. Like, I don't like to refer to myself as psychic, but I have a lot of experiences that would fall in line with clairvoyant abilities, psychic abilities, premonitory dreams, and downloads, you could say. God, it makes me uncomfortable even saying that, but I need to keep sharing this, because this is, again, a message that is meant to speak to a greater number of people in generational issues, in planting seeds for future generations. Because we all see, if you're awake, if you got the realize, you see we're in a dire straits at the moment, and we are at a crossroads. Let's help direct the future generations by planting seeds of hope and love and faith in God, and what religion and developing a connection to God can mean, without it having to be dogmatic or based off of someone else's conditioning, or having to worship anybody. Understanding that we are all imbued with a fractal aspect of the consciousness of the Creator, and we are all, with that spark of consciousness, we are all an aspect of the Creator, experiencing a self in a physical manner, because God, the all, the field of consciousness, the quantum field of consciousness, the infinite potential, has no physicality, so needed to create physical to experience what it already knows. Because you can study all you want, you can read, a book about subject till your eyes fall out, but if you don't go out and apply that knowledge and experience what you're learning, well, you're only able to process it so much. So that's what we're doing. We're here experiencing God, brain just shit its pants, dude. Anyways, yeah, 33, had a premonition that I was gonna die at 33 when I was about 30 years old. And I've noticed a pattern with other people who've gone on to do interesting things. One of them, David Icke, he had this weird thing that he thought he was Jesus Christ when he turned 33 or something like that. And we all saw how that went for him. I love David Icke. Mad respect to David Icke and for all he's done. But I'm not claiming I am Jesus Christ. But finding out the meaning of my name and not having guidance, especially familial guidance, which most people, that's how they kind of dictate their path. I've had to turn inward, and finding all these weird beautiful symbolic connections to the story of Christ has taught me that one of my many purposes is to embody that Christ consciousness and show others what that means and what that can mean, and how we can all tap into it, and how, what's that quote from Eleanor Roosevelt? It's great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. So many people are, still fighting about what color Jesus was, if he was even a person. Does it really matter when the message, the characteristics, the ideals, the virtues, the principles which Jesus was preaching about? Why does it matter who he was, if he even was, when we should all be focusing on the ideas? Because the Christ archetype has been embodied, and there's been a character equivalent in every culture in different time periods to Christ. Buddha, um, Hermes, Thoth. Like, it's unity consciousness, synchronizing the hemispheres of our brain, synchronizing our divine feminine and masculine aspects, because we are all composed of both feminine and masculine, negative and positive, active and passive aspects. It's all part of creation. Again, this all stems largely from Hermetic philosophy. But anyways, if you could help brother out, I got a message of hope to spread and love. That's all.